Assassin's Creed 3, a game where you're an assassin, a pirate, a florist, a stalker, and most importantly, a board game lover. Also, if you don't like this video, I'll do this to your dog. We start our journey getting introduced to some lore from the previous games regarding the Templars and the power of the apple, before jumping into a remote location with Desmond to set up the Animus and start finding our feet with the controls again. Oh, let's go! Our first achievement. Let's get it. Let's have a quick look at this. Re-enter the Animus. Let's go! On to many more. Being confused at first as to why I wasn't playing as Connor, that tale will soon unfold. I get given my first assassination target that I quietly make my way over to, and then Haytham shows us why he is the true Sigma.
I'm sorry.
Oh, he's gonna get stabbed up. I love how the kid just watches. He's got some big ass eyes. Damn, he hit him with the what the Sigma? Swiftly leaving the opera house and making his way to the ship, him being an absolute Sigma doesn't stop there, as on the way to America, he roasts the entire ship crew.
Well, seems our esteemed guest has deigned to grace us with his presence. You might want to head back to your quarters. Top deck's no place for tender parnells.
So I thought. And yet here you are. Do you yield?
Then proceeding to beat their ass before the captain calls Haytham to run some errands around the ship, before finally being met with the glorious title screen. We get off the boat arriving in Boston, and we are met with Charles Lee, who is likeable at first but slowly becomes a pain in my ass. Shortly after, we meet Benjamin Franklin, who tells us about his almanac, which is a book with a bunch of missing pages that will later give me a few achievements, as they are the collectibles in this game. We are led to a tavern, which becomes a base of operation for the next upcoming missions. Now this is where the struggle begins with the optional objectives. So instead of doing one big playthrough, I decided to replay each time I failed, this resulting in me not having to go back on myself at the end of the game. Then, I hit my first milestone of Assassin's Creed and did my first leap of faith. I believe this is everybody's first milestone in the game. Next on the list was to save a guy called Benjamin Church, and I made quick work of his men. And believe me, hold on, the prologue is nearly done, I promise. In his next mission, Haytham meets a hostage woman that he takes a liking to. I think you can see where this is going. During this mission, I replayed a part a couple times, and it resulted in this achievement. Nice, got the achievement. And then this wraps up sequence 2. Nice, another achievement. Mystery guest. Complete sequence 1 and 2. Hopping into sequence 3, I stalk this woman, which is clearly Riz. Then I eavesdrop on the main man himself, George Washington, which we will certainly see more of later in the game. This infamous woman finally shows us the cave that Haytham has been searching for this whole time, and then the Riz finally paid off. At this point in the game, it is revealed that we are all Templars.
You are a Templar.
This concludes sequence 3, giving us a very fitting achievement. How'd you like them apples? Starting sequence 4, we are met with Connor as a boy. Then this is where we meet our old pal Charles Lee, however, from a very different perspective. His men set alight to Connor's home, and frantically trying to make my way back, it was not soon enough, as Connor was unable to save his mother from the fire. One tragic loss and a time jump later, Connor is now a teenager where he begins his villain arc, and it starts with some training. This training involved parkour and some hunting, which will become an absolute chore later on. Once completing the training, we speak with the elder from the village who gives us the apple, and Connor has a vision meeting Juno. Then this is where we understand the link between being an assassin and Connor's heritage. This wrapping up sequence 4. Nice, sequence 4 completed. I don't want to play as a child ever again. After logging back into my game, I found a random guy, and I got an achievement for it.
You're looking for the hunting cabin, you're almost there. Over there.
I just got like the most random achievement ever. I've just loaded up the game, and I got an achievement. Kicking off sequence 5, Connor meets Achilles, who is thrilled to see us at first.
I was told you could train me.
No.
But reluctantly becomes a mentor for Connor early on in the game after beating up some guys. He takes us to Boston, where Connor is finally given his actual name.
What'd you call me then?
Connor. Yes, that will be your name.
In Boston, Connor sees his father, aka the Riz Lord, in the flesh, and we also set our sights on our enemy, Charles Lee. While meeting a few people in Boston, we are shown the underground for fast travel, which I had to completely explore for 100%. Proving my worth in Boston, I went back to Achilles where he gave me my hidden blade. To finish up sequence 5, there was a naval mission, which I did hate at first because I wasn't used to the mechanics, but towards the end of the game, they became more enjoyable. After being the captain of the boat, Achilles gave me the iconic assassin's robes. Nice, and I got the achievement, let's go. The day the Templars cried. At this part in the game, we have our first Desmond mission, which was different to the previous games, but they were way more enjoyable in my opinion. I made my way through and stealing this artifact from a Daniel Cross, resulting in this achievement. Damn, this guy just got bopped in the head. Oh, achievement. Crisscross. Heading back to Boston, we liberate some areas for Samuel Adams and his men. Also, obtaining our first assassin to call out, which will lead us to a couple more achievements later on in the game. Our work in Boston is noticed by Charles Lee to help build up that storyline a little bit more. My next mission was to assassinate William Johnson. This mission was a pain in my ass with the optional objectives, and honestly, me just making stupid mistakes. I bet I've assassinated the wrong guy. Oh my god, I think I got it. Right. I just desynced. I ran off this cliff with full confidence because there was birds there. Alright, he's not making that jump. Sweet, dead. Right, it did a swan dive. Nice. So that was the way you meant to go. But in the end, I got it, which concluded sequence 6. Jesus. Alright, cheers for the achievement. Free. Tea for the Englishman. You can tell Americans made this. Sequence 7 was genuinely really enjoyable. It was awesome to see Connor on the battlefield during the Civil War and then be part of those behind the scenes meetings with George Washington. It was genuinely a great experience to see. Some parts were really action packed and other parts had some bullshit optional objectives, but with some perseverance they weren't too bad. I assassinate my target and meet back with Puteman, completing this sequence. Nice, I got my achievement. Let's go. Now, Season 8 starts with one of the most annoying missions I have ever done. Not only is it a really long tailing mission, but the optional objective not to tackle or shove anyone was a nightmare. I managed to find the right route, which you're watching now, and with all my hard work, I got thrown in jail. I start a fight and get given some false information from this guy. Then I get caught in the act by my enemy, Charles Lee. Charles Lee sets us up for public execution, but for me, I see in the background some assassins that will come out to my aid. At the last moment, Achilles saves the day and I bolt my way over to Thomas Hickey to assassinate him. We then cut over to my favourite part in the game where you see all of the guys sign the Declaration of Independence, which was just great to see. And that just about wraps up Sequence 8.
Make it so.
Let's go, achievement, baby. Completing sequence 8. That was cool. I like that. We get to see the signing of the Declaration of Independence. I like that a lot. Hopping out of the Animus, we begin another Desmond mission, and this one specifically felt like I was playing Hitman or something. Nonetheless, we hunt down Daniel Cross, steal an artifact, and then make our way back to the hideout, resulting in another achievement. Oh, another achievement. Daddy Dearest. This next part of the game is quite interesting as we do some missions with Haytham, and it turns out to be some father bonding exercise. These missions were really fun, as in the Assassin's Creed games they're quite solo oriented, so it was good to see a level of teamwork within the story. Obviously there were some hiccups along the way, which is to be expected, but overall they work quite well together. Even manned a pirate ship together. To conclude this sequence, we kill Benjamin Church, given as an achievement. Ooh, let's go. Oh, an achievement, what's up? Oh, sweet. That's complete sequence 9 done. Full sync, let's go. Making that progress. Our journey with Haytham doesn't stop there, as we are brutally taking down some redcoats and even taking some of them for hostage. This next bit feels a bit weird, seeing Haytham, George Washington and I all working together, but I roll with it. At this point, Connor catches wind of the redcoats attacking his home, and it was his mission to stop his people from attacking first, resulting in him killing his best friend. This next mission, as I was bombing the life out of the redcoats, I got an achievement called Circus Act, which was for killing 15 guards with one singular hit. Not long after this, I retreat back to George Washington, and this just about wrapped up that sequence. Let's go! Oh, completed sequence 10. That was a short one. Nice. Full sync? Let's go! We now go through one of the last Desmond missions, which involves going back to Abstergo and finding Daniel Cross. As per, this resulted in a chase scene and me killing a bunch of guys. And then, to save Desmond's dad, we use the Apple of Eden and its powers, and luckily this time we don't take damage from using it. Upon escaping, we get this achievement. Ooh, achievement? The end is nigh. Oh, complete present. Oh, sweet. Alright, so I've just upgraded my ship. Obviously my Elgato wasn't on and I wasn't recording, but I just got this achievement. Which was just for upgrading the ship. Just wanted to add that one in. Sequence 11, Memory 1, was most definitely the worst mission in the game, without a doubt. The first section involves shooting 3 boats at once with a singular shot, and this was just luck based and me hoping that they would line up. Then the second phase, you had to shoot the power stores, which meant damaging the boats a little bit, but not too much. So you don't want to destroy them, but you still want to damage them enough so it would show. And it was just a nightmare. This mission honestly took me an hour and a half, but my god, I was happy when it was over. Yeah! Let's go! Let's fucking go! Let's go! Let's go! Fuck me out, made me go lightheaded. Whoa. Ending this sequence, we see Connor and Haytham again. They have a fight, but this might be a fight to the death. As expected, it was really enjoyable to play through. The fight resulted in Connor killing his own dad, and this, for me, really sold Connor's story, as we get to see Connor's mother die at the start, and it created that villain arc, that vengeance to build up, and then to find out his father is the enemy, just to finally kill him. It's a really good character story for me, and that finishes up the penultimate sequence. I got an achievement. Difficult and complete sequence 11. I believe there's only one more to go. The final sequence here was one big chase to our final target, which was Charles Lee. Only 2 missions made up this sequence, so it felt a little bit rushed, but I was happy to see the end of the story finally. The final chase through the boat was really cool, but he does slip through our fingers in the end, and barely making it out of the wreck, I get the almighty achievement of Perfectionist. And that's it. Is that the story completed? Let's go. That's gonna be the hardest achievement, I think. Let's go. I'm really happy with that. Really happy with that. I didn't get a completion for sequence 12 yet. I wonder if there's a little bit more. And yes, Parself, there is more to go. We enter the tavern with a very injured Charles Lee, and we both share a drink together. One last drink before the inevitable happens, and I kill him. And if you watch really closely here, Connor steals the amulet which Hatham stole at the very start of the game. Connor then goes back to his old village to find the apple and reconnect with Juno, where she tells us that we have finally fulfilled our purpose. And then, at long last, to wrap up this sequence, Connor buries the amulet in his own grave. Let's go! So he's putting a little amulet in the grave. Completed sequence 12, let's go! Upon completing the story, we exit the Animus, where we have multiple encounters with Juno telling us more about the lore of her people and the difference between right and wrong for her civilization. For me personally, I wasn't that interested in this part, as I prefer just running around as an assassin. But it did make a good solid ending for the story, as in this last part here, while the credits are rolling, we see Desmond die, which was kind of unexpected, but it does make sense for Desmond's story. And then once the credits roll, we get the following achievement. Let's go! Oh, we got an achievement. For what? No good deed goes unpunished. Oh, sweet. Once rolling through the credits, we got given some epilogue missions, which were kind of just some cutscenes to round off the story, where we just see Connor a little bit later in his life, and then this gave us this achievement for wrapping up the story after the credits. Now that the story is fully done, it's time to do some cleanup. This means every single collectible, every single naval mission, which was so long, all of the homestead missions, which made me want to die. Oh yeah, and then there was just some random other achievements along the way before moving on to the DLC. I would say I had a plan for these cleanup achievements, but honestly, I was just playing the game and just keeping in mind of that completionist achievement. So the first one I knocked out while I was in Homestead anyway was just recruiting this guy, and I got an achievement for it. And then while being a UPS delivery man, I stumbled on the multitasking achievement, which was for 50% progress. Like every Assassin's Creed game, there are always some annoying collectibles, so I got these almanac pages sort of out the way for now. Since I was in Boston and getting all of the collectibles and doing the civilian missions, I thought it was a good idea to liberate Boston while I was here, so I didn't need to come back in the future. The next achievement was a complete set, which was basically hiring people to the homestead so that they could work. And I needed to get this one done, as without this one, it would mean I was locked out of other achievements, so I got this one done early on. Also, while I was in Homestead, I sent off a convoy to each destination, which I honestly could have done way sooner, but here we are, I ticked another one off. Then, literally, as I was walking out the door, I remembered this achievement. Oh, I can craft this. Yeah. Let's go! Another achievement. I don't really know what it did, or anything like that, but we did it. Let's go! Now, that's enough of helping people. Let's do some killing. That worked. Run! That was an easy achievement. Just saw it on the list. I was like, let me try this. For an achievement, I had to hang some people, and I feel like a joke could be made here, but we're gonna move on. Also, in the background while doing all of this side content, I've been sending my assassins out on contracts just to rank them up, resulting in this achievement. Oh, what's that? I'm not saying that. Sweet, got the achievement. That was quite an easy one to do. I mean, it took some time, but let's go for achievement. This next achievement was a bit of luck, but I managed to get it. Oh, I did it. I was waiting for that for so long. I just paused then because I'm expecting these to hurt me. Are we friends? Let's not be friends. I was just looking at my minimap there, wondering if that achievement would count. because I didn't directly see it, but then the second one killed it anyway. But let's go for it. That was such a free achievement. Now, I didn't get an achievement for this, but I just wanted to showcase me getting my final collectible in the game. Here we go. That's every single collectible in the game done. That was a long grind, that really was. It was very easy. As you can see down at the bottom, I've got quite a lot of money. So it made it easy because I bought the maps. But let's have a look here. Discovery. I'm getting there, 83%. Collectibles, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%. I decided to tackle some of the peg leg missions, and these were honestly so fun, and I got 2 achievements for doing them. But the first one was where I infiltrated a fort, and there were some optional objectives along the way which weren't too bad. This mission involves sneaking into the fort, finding some clues before escaping and blowing up the fort, giving us the achievement Bring the House Down, which was obviously quite fitting. Now, the next one was the better one for me, the Mystery of Oak Island, which felt like Tomb Raider / Enchanted, those sort of games, which I was not mad about at all. There are a few different parts to this mission leading up to the achievement, starting in a jungle with a temple which I had to navigate my way into, and upon entering I did some parkour to get the chest, and this booted up the next mission. In the next mission I aligned some weird symbol things and then defended myself against some walls before jumping into a cave where I found this ring. Unfortunately, I did not get to use this ring too much as I was so far into the game, but from what I read online, it acts as a force field against 1 in 3 bullets, so I advise getting this very early on in the game. This next achievement shows you how fast life can come at you. Let's go! I got an achievement. Oh shit. But that was for killing 10 of those big boys. Killing a few more big boys, I completed the Boston Brawler challenges, which was super easy, but honestly a tad boring. But nonetheless, it's content. There was an achievement for selling pelts in all of the stores, which took no effort at all, which is what we love. It seemed like a little bit of a pointless achievement in my opinion, but whatever, free gamer score. This next one I genuinely managed to do first time, as I was worried I would accidentally break one of the guys' necks, but we managed to successfully take down a convoy without killing anyone, and obviously getting an achievement for it. The last part of the completionist grind was the naval missions and contracts. I did the naval missions first since there are only 5 of them, and each of them had their own optional objectives which weren't too bad at all. Boat missions aren't normally my thing, but it makes me look forward to playing Black Flag next. But here's the first achievement I got. Oh, let's go. Is that for completing all of the naval missions? You know what? They weren't that bad. Considering I hated them in the main story, I kind of liked them in this. They were quite cool. I think because there were only 5. But let's go. Making that progress. Now, moving on to the contracts, they were kind of just the same sort of thing, but the missions were a little bit shorter and there were more of them. However, this time around, the optional objectives were hell, and they were so much harder for no reason. But here's the achievement for that. Oh, I got an achievement. Entrepreneur, not pirate. Complete all 12 pirate. Oh. So I got basically an achievement which I wasn't planning on getting. I need to replay that mission so many times to get the full sync on it. And then I've got the completionist, because if I check now, I believe 99%. Let's get to grinding. Now, as you've just heard in the previous clip, I've got one more optional objective left before getting completionist. And I think for this one, I'm just going to let the mission roll so you can understand the pain and the bullshit I had to go through to get this. And I really want to just say that it was worth it, but I know there is so much worse to come. One more. Come on. If anybody wants tips, I'm not the person to be giving out tips, but I've destroyed the masts. And now I'm holding them in one position. I'm shooting the front. This is not gameplay. This is terrible gameplay, but I think it's working. Right, just get the front half and just tick down at it slow. Oh my god, I thought it sunk. Please, please, reload faster. Jesus. Please. Let's go! That's it, baby. That's it. The controller is going down. Let the rest of the game play out. Boom! Give me that achievement. Now! I'm in. Now! I'm in. Oh, please just give me this achievement. That took me 45 minutes to do. Let's go! It's probably the hardest achievement in the game. Right, now let's go clean up I don't even know what ones they are. Right, let's go clean up. 100% sync. There it is. There it is. Let's go clean up. Yeah, honestly, I don't know why I was so excited for these last two achievements, but what you're about to witness is genuinely the worst achievement I've ever had to do in any video game. So, for some context, there are these mini games that you can do in AC3. For this achievement, you need to beat them on the highest possible difficulty, which I genuinely think is impossible to win unless you have some Albert Einstein level IQ. I'm not going to go into loads of detail on the games, but for this one that's currently on screen, I used a website for and played against the hardest difficulty on that site and basically just repeated the AI's moves against the Assassin's Creed AI moves. And then I ended up winning for it. And then for this next game that I'm showing, I followed a guide on YouTube, but then it had a mix of trial and error as well, as I believe the moves are random, but I could be wrong. Finally, this was the easiest one, which was like the bowls thing, and you're about to hear me say in a live reaction, try to follow what I do, but honestly, it's pure luck, and just repeat it until you'll win. I don't think there's any way special to win. There might be, but yeah, good luck if you're going for this. It's horrible. There you go, 2 points. Give me that, and I've won it. Give me that achievement. Let's go! That is the worst achievement in the game. I'm going to try and show what I did for that one, because that's horrendous. Please try and follow whatever I did, which was a lot of pure luck, but please, just don't do this achievement. It's horrible. The final achievement, oh my god. I had to stalk people and then use eagle vision when they were doing their job for it to work. So basically you need to watch each person around 3 times, and it was just pure luck based. Not only that, when it was nighttime, they went to sleep, so they just weren't doing any jobs. So what I had to do was just start a memory and then abort it just to force the daytime to happen. You're going to hear in the reaction that it took me around 3 hours, and that's genuinely no lie. I was sat watching Netflix, and yes, 3 hours later, I got this achievement and finished the base game. Let's go! That achievement for 10 gamer score took me 3 hours. 3 hours of game time for that. Alright, so let me just come out of the main menu here. I'm just going to have a quick look. My base game is done. I've got the DLC, and then I've got Liberations to do. Let me just click on single player. 38 hours it took me to complete, and 100% the base game. Don't think it's too horrible. Let me know what other people got, but 38 hours, pretty much on the nose. Now, onto the DLC. I have to admit, this is the best Assassin's Creed DLC that I'd played so far. It was a bit weird at first, but the premise of it was just George Washington has the apple and is just on a mad one, and the DLC looks to be like in an alternate timeline. Playing through the story and making sure I do all of the optional objectives, I get my first DLC achievement for being gifted the hidden blades right at the start. And then we see the main man himself, the Mad King George, using all of his power with the apple, and then tragically, George kills Connor's mother before moving on to the next section of the DLC. Now, in this DLC, Connor gets some powers of animals, and the first one we get was a wolf's cloak, which was honestly really OP, and you'll see that in gameplay to come. But not long after using it, I got the achievement for getting a certain amount of kills while using it. But it was genuinely so good, and you're about to see some of the new animal powers that we do get within the game. At this point, I was just trying to play the story and the DLC without any focus on the side content until later on, but literally just speeding our way through. It wasn't very long. We killed Benedict, which was the secret achievement for this DLC, and that finishes up the first episode of the DLC. And yes, there is a completionist styled achievement for each episode within the DLC. There are 3 episodes, and we'll just come back to them later on, but prioritizing the story first. You're watching now on screen the mission that I had to do in order to obtain the eagle powers, and oh my god, whoever programmed this needs to be fired. Follow the eagle and don't hit anything. Yeah. Okay, this took me so many attempts, but like for no reason. It wasn't the fact that it was just hard, my timing just sucked. But honestly, like when I did do it, it was super satisfying to complete. And then once obtaining the eagle powers, shortly after I got the achievement just for using it. It was just a free achievement, but honestly, these animal powers, the wolf and the eagle ones so far, are so fun, and I wish they were in base game because they're just so useful as well. The final mission in episode 2 was just a straight brawl, and I was killing a whole bunch of people while defending a ship, and then I got my satisfying moment of killing Puteman. This was my favourite achievement, honestly. He was so annoying, and then that just wraps up episode 2. Jumping into the third and final episode of the DLC, and once again we get another animal ability, and exactly the same as before. We go through these little memory, blah 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 blah, whatever, and then we get an achievement for using it. So it was a bit repetitive, but this ability was actually kind of fun. And then the achievement was basically just for spamming it, and this ability was stupidly overpowered, but it did take a lot of your health, so I guess it was balanced in a way. This last episode was one big hunt to take down Washington, and upon reaching his big pyramid, there was some parkour to do, some clues to find before making our way deeper into the pyramid. This felt like some of the old Assassin's Creed games where you would explore a really cool building with a little bit of parkour, a little bit of puzzles, and it was really fun to play. Once making our way through the pyramid, I found King George in a really cool boss arena. For this fight, you basically just had to use a combination of the different abilities to kill him, which wasn't too hard. Upon killing George Washington, I retrieved the apple for myself, and that's the end of the DLC. Obviously, we've got the completionist to go through, but as these final cutscenes roll, I just wanted to add a few thoughts to the end of the DLC in the base game. I know this is a really bold statement, but I actually enjoyed the DLC a lot more than the base game, maybe because it was shorter and it felt a little bit different, but the base game never really did much for me, and the abilities in the DLC were just really fun to use, and they should have been in the actual game. But I kind of get it as they were a little bit overpowered. But maybe if you complete the story and the DLC, you get them, so you don't get them too early on. But nonetheless, the game so far has been fairly decent. Now, moving on to the cleanup of the DLC in Frontier, I start off by feeding the homeless that randomly spawn based on your location in the game. With these wolf rescues, they weren't too bad. I think it was a bit of RNG with them, and then finally the convoys, which are a little bit of a pain as I had to keep reloading the area, but I got them done quite swiftly. But at this point I thought I was all done, and it's quite funny because I completed everything and I thought that was it, but I actually missed one of the optional objectives, so I had to go back and then get that, giving me the achievement for it. Overall, the 100% for episode 1 wasn't that bad. It was maybe about 2 to 3 hours worth, maybe not even that. It was pretty good. Cleaning up episode 2, I was wondering what content I would experience. As I started off, I found a memory artifact, which was really cool, and then I fed a starving person. Hang on, I just did that in Frontier. But what else is new? Oh, I attacked a convoy and some convoys. Hang on, no, I did that in Frontier as well. Yeah, it was honestly just the same stuff, repeated again. But I got the achievement anyway, and surely in episode 3 the content will be different, right? Yeah, I don't know what you want me to say here. The side content in episode 3 was exactly the same again, so here's just my reaction to the last and final achievement, and this grind is finally over. What a journey, what a journey. Well, this should be it. Is this the final achievement? Let's go! Oh, I'm dipping, I'm not hanging around. That was the final achievement. So that means base game, DLC, completely finished. Those side missions were a little bit annoying, a bit repetitive. Probably not going to show that. But now let's move on to Liberations. Let's go.